Okay, it's 7 o'clock. And as we promised, we have made a 16-week commitment to read our story live every week here. Our book is In Spite of Us, a love story about second chances. So the deal is on May 9th, we are actually scheduled for a third reading at a bookstore, Inkling's bookstore. But it looks like that's probably not going to happen. And we've been thinking about this and decided that, actually, a friend said that she really felt God's calling people to step up and do what they're called to do, to really hear what it is he's calling you to do. And for a very, very long time, he's been calling us to get our story out there. And, to fellow authors, I know that you'll understand, something happens after your book gets published. Everything becomes about selling books, promoting your book, pushing your book. And what we've decided is that we're done with that. I mean, we're not done, and you can certainly buy the book. We certainly want you to buy the book if you have not already. But what we really want is to share our story. And we think that during this quarantine time, this is the perfect time to do that. To every week get on here and read you our story in our voices. So keep in mind, we've always thought that our book would make a fantastic audiobook. But we don't have the resources to do that right now. Certainly not the know-how, for one thing. So this is our version of that. And so keep in mind, it's going to be very informal. Okay. But the bonus to this is, the bonus is that it is informal. It's like hanging out with us and hearing our story. And we're going to be giving you backstory too, that is not given in the book, so that you will have an understanding of what was going on behind the words that are in these chapters. So,
the May 9th reading was brought about because of a book called Chicken Soup for the Soul. Laughter is the best medicine. Those of you that know Deb know that she's an exceptional writer and has been
my big fan.
Has numerous stories published in different periodicals and magazines. Her latest is in Chicken Soup for the Soul. And as part of our reading each week, every 2 weeks, we're going to give one of these away to people that are watching in and spending the evening with us. All you need to do is like and share to be entered in the drawing on YouTube or Facebook.
Okay, so tonight, like and share, please. That helps us to be able to see who's out there. Some way, let us know you're there, or we won't be able to put you in the drawing. And the easiest way to do that is for you to like or share this video. Anyway, if we see your name's going to go on a piece of paper in a hat, and we'll draw it out. And next week, we'll announce who won a Chicken Soup book. And it's a great book. It's not just my story. My story is just one little short story in here. There's 101. They're all humorous stories. It's Chicken Soup for the Soul, 101 feel-good stories. Laughter is the best medicine. So it's a good one. I've been reading some of the stories, and they're really good. They're really good. So we're going to start. It's about 5 minutes after 7, and so I want to tell you a little bit about the background of the whole book, and then each time that we show up here on Sunday night, we're going to share just a little bit of background about each chapter, just to sort of give you the mood. So we'll be reading our book chapter by chapter every Sunday night at 7 for the next 16 weeks. Now, those of you who know our book, you know that it's written one chapter me, one chapter Sandy. So that's how we're going to be reading it. Tonight we'll do 2 chapters. Mine's a little longer than Sandy's, but we were talking about that. That's kind of fitting because I'm a little gabbier than he is. And that's what we'll be doing each week, is each reading a chapter and then giving you some backstory. In addition to the audio of our story, like I said, we'll be providing backstory. And the reason that we chose to write the book in active voice, I'm sorry, I messed up here. That is the reason that we chose to write the book in active voice, because we didn't want to tell you what to think. We didn't want our reader, how some books tell you this is how the person was feeling, this is why the person did that. We don't do that in our book. Our book, you get to play armchair psychology, and believe me, your work is cut out for you. Of course, there's things that we hope that you take from the book. As the story unfolds, you may see why we did some of the destructive things we did. You may see my desperate attempts to find love and see that I don't have a clue as to what that might look like. You'll most likely learn where Sandy's brokenness began, and so on. We hope and pray as you continue into our story that you will see we are different today solely because God loved us into new lives. You may at some point ask, why would you write this story? And we understand. It certainly is not flattering for us, but it is true. It is real. And sadly, it represents the stinking thinking of many homes across the globe. We poured our hearts out, shared the ugly truth, because we want you to know the power of God to restore even the most shattered soul. It's important to us that you know we are not proud of our past, but we will boast about what God did for us and longs to do for others who do not know him yet, and we are not and who are not walking in his will. We are no different than many of the characters in the Bible. The true stories chosen for the Bible are not flattering for many of the characters. Take David and Bathsheba, the woman at the well. With that said, I think we are closest in character to that sheep. The one that wanders off, the one the shepherd leaves the 99 to go help. Our story involves addictions like alcoholism, poor choices like adultery, lies, deceit. There will be times when you dislike us, and hopefully times when you love us. Lastly, before we start, know that we are not the same people in the early chapters of our story. We are still far from being incredible beings we were created to be, but miraculously, we have hope for ourselves and others. So we invite you to laugh and cry with us, but please no regrets, as we know God used every trial, broken heart, and struggle to get us where we need to be.
Yes. our book, again, in spite of us, has been published and out for a little over a year now, and we've got some really positive responses from friends and not friends, people that have read our book, and we have gotten some really great reviews. And each week, I'm going to read one of those reviews. And the first one is from Goodreads, and the review was by a lady named Paige. I haven't read a book this fast in years. As you can see, I gave it 5 stars. This is one of the best romance books I've ever read. It was genuine and real. I'm so pleased to see a book like this published and in the Christian genre. A lot of authors stay in the comfort level with soft and fluffy books, but this book is so much more than that. I really hope to find more books like this, books that are raw and beautiful. Enjoyed every page.
Okay, well, that really blesses us to get reviews like that, and we're proud of every single one that we've gotten. Before we start, I'm going to start reading chapter 1, my chapter. I just want to tell you, and maybe you don't need to know this, but we're watching this as we're watching on YouTube. And so if you're watching this on Facebook and leaving comments, we're not going to see those until later, but please do anyway. We'd love to see them. We just won't be able to respond to them from here. Okay, chapter 1, Duel in the Sun. The scent of stale smoke and gin follow me through the doors of Nordstrom. A gaggle of salesgirls with sprayed coiffures and portrait faces pointing polychrome nails, alerting the others to take note of my presence. I'm surrounded by mirrors, like a carnival funhouse, mocking, stalking. There's no escape. Images of hair askew with remnants of last night's lipstick and smeared mascara chase me around the cosmetic counters. Sweet fragrances war, nausea swirls. I swallow when a voice from behind me calls out to me, "Deb, what's going on?" It's Paula, my friend from college, the only person privy to the telltale truths of my messy life. "Not again," she says, reading my face. He's a jerk. 2 weeks ago, Paula and I were strangers, paired as debate partners by Professor King, who felt our common 40-something status suited a good team. We've proven him right, slam-dunking assertions, leaving the burden of proof to our 20-something opponents, doomed by a prima facie case. She's the type that skips the cordial stage, diving into friendship jackhammer style. "You'll know when you've had enough," she says, trading the "I told you so" for a big hug. I return the hug, waving her back toward her antsy husband, Jim, who looks like a little boy being held prisoner in a lingerie shop. "Don't worry, I'm done this time. Go on, I'll see you Monday in the hub." They walk away, arms linked, Paula shaking her head while Jim quizzes her about the drama. Seeing them together on a Saturday afternoon feels good, hopeful. Last week they moved back in together. Not the duo they once were, but a trio of man, wife, and forgiveness. Monday arrives, feeling like it doesn't belong between Sunday and Tuesday. I drive the Ellensburg Canyon, convincing the river, the trees, a hovering eagle, and myself I'm happy. You okay? Asked Paula before I can sit down at the table. Yes, everything's fine. Silence hangs in the air. No, you didn't. You took him back again? She asks, cupping a hand over one eye as if she's embarrassed. So it goes. Do I believe the alluring magician with the smoke and mirrors? Or my friend, a seasoned, do or die type recovering alcoholic? Chimera may be a mythological monster, but truth is such a drag. I consider this safer choice because I'm a mom, a title which serves as a parachute when making decisions. Haley and Jay, 11 and 8, keep me somewhat accountable. Still, my mothering style is bipolar-esque at best. Weekdays and alternate weekends, I perform parental acrobatics, attempting to make up for the divorce, working full-time, and maintaining a 4-point GPA. However, when my little redheads have waved goodbye to mommy from the window of their dad's sedan, all power to be good gets zapped by kryptonite and the supermom cape falls off. I'm rather like the child described in the Henry Wadsworth poem. There was a little girl who had a little curl right in the middle of her forehead. And when she was good, she was really, really good. But when she was bad, she was horrid. Exchange the curl for big bar hair. Hey, it's the 80s. And here I am, struggling to be good with me generation propaganda ringing in my ears. My routine escalates as follows. Desire to be good. Stress to maintain goodness. Drink to relieve stress. Additional drink. Guard to be good drowns. Self-hate joins the party. And lastly, things I thought I'd never do happen. Some actions hurt others deeply but can be forgiven, like name-calling, gambling, or lying. Others hurt to the core, like infidelity. If you step over that line, don't bother turning back. Starting an affair with my married boss was like tossing a Molotov cocktail at hope. My children, Haley and Jay, were helpless, rubble, shards too jagged to piece back together. And I, the terrorist, sopping in liquid justifications of vodka and gin. As a single mom, slightly disheveled over old patterns emerge. On the weekends when their dad is the designated parent, my bad girl trumps my good girl. When Sunday drags in, I tidy up and make grandiose self-promises that start with words like next time or never again. I welcome them home with the best good mom smile I can muster, and we play the game of life, chomp popcorn, and lick Rocky Road ice cream cones. When Monday appears again accordingly, I pack healthy lunches with bags of carrot sticks, send them off to school, and drive the Ellensburg Canyon singing Cry Me a River, my theme song. I smile and nod to Paula, faithfully waiting at our usual table in the hub. I consider lies I could tell while paying for my coffee. Why did I phone her Saturday night tanked up on vodka and rejection? She begged me to make a clean break with Wayne. I said I would. I promised as soon as I hung up the phone, and I meant it. Then Wayne knocked on the door. It's okay this time, Paula. He wants to do the right thing. He loves me. Really, he does. He's telling his wife today. I hear myself saying, it's different this time. And I wonder how she can bear the sound of my voice. It must stem from her belief in a power greater than herself, a euphemism for God she picked up in one of her daily AA meetings. I'm surprised our friendship didn't end the day I said, I respect your beliefs, but don't share them with me. I prefer to go it alone without a crutch. No debate or disdain followed then or now. She just smiles and says something annoying like, well, do what you need to do. I admire Paula. Sometimes I wish I was an alcoholic. I'd muster up a powerful God who'd fix all my messes. Alas, I'm not an alcoholic. My drinking may appear as mayhem, but I have it under control. I can stop anytime I choose. Now, if only I could just get control of this affair. I don't even like Wayne. He's just there. You know, like food you'd never choose. Not a glazed donut or a bag of salty chips. No, saltine crackers or rice cakes. They're joyless, unsatisfying, dry, yet you can't stop stuffing your face. All while asking, why am I eating this? When alone in a room lit by vodka and delusion, it's a grand love affair. Even in the aftermath of being dumped, I lap up the emotions like a starving cat. There's an old Western flick that best describes this sick love affair. Duel in the Sun, starring Gregory Peck and Jennifer Jones. The finale takes place in the desert. Scorned lovers, trapped, one behind a boulder, the other in a cave. Depleted of tolerance, they steady, aiming their shotguns, blasting holes in one another. After a brief celebration for hitting the targets dead on, they panic at the thought of losing their true love. Covered in blood, sweat, and tears, they crawl towards each other, professing remorse and love, sharing a final kiss and gasp of breath. Paula's tired of this scene, as anyone would be. She wants me to meet some guy from AA. Betcha he's a lousy shot. Okay, so this is a live reading, and when things are live, things go wrong. And so what I did wrong was I forgot to read you my backstory and introduction to the first chapter before I read the story. I apologize, so I'm just going to do the best I can and read it now. So some stories start at the beginning and move forward, and some start at the end and move backward. My story started right at the bottom and moves up. It begins at the lowest point of my life. I've destroyed my first marriage. I'm involved with a married man who has just dumped me again. I'm hungover, wandering around downtown, just looking for a way to self-destruct. I'm wallowing in self-hate, and looking back, I can tell you that I want nothing more than to disappear off the face of the earth. So that should have been read before the chapter. I apologize.
Okay, and I'm going to read chapter 2, but a few words before I read. Some of you out there have probably heard this saying before. I came to believe. That was pretty much me as I got sober. In my early sobriety, in a room full of recovering alcoholics, I felt the presence of God. There no doubt in my mind that God was in that room and on me. And since that day, there has never been any of those old questions. Is there a God? Is, what's this all about? No. But yeah, did I become a saint overnight with that spiritual experience? No, I've made a lot of mistakes and done a lot of things I wished I hadn't, but I probably wouldn't be where I am today if I hadn't done them. And this redhead friend of my Paula's sure seemed like a good idea at the time. A non-believer that drinks too much. Oh well, I'm going for it. So this is chapter 2. It ain't no cakewalk. Styrofoam cup in hand, I nod to the room full of like-minded, half-awake coffee slurpers saying the words I've said every morning since June 10th, 1986. My name's Sandy. I'm an alcoholic. Sobriety swipes the rug out from under your life, leaving random pieces hanging midair. Family, finances, jobs, sex, ego. Without the bogus safety net of drugs and alcohol, you're involuntarily awake to witness the crash. Juggling life sober isn't easy, but I've managed to stack up 3 years, one day at a time. Sober life's worth living, but it ain't no cakewalk. You're left at ground zero, stacks of bodies strewn from your chaotic past, rubble needing to be cleared away. Cindy, the nursemaid girlfriend who stood by me through my last drunks, remains standing in sobriety. I try ending the relationship, but can't seem to get her zipped into the body bag. She wants and deserves more than I can give. I surrender my AA spiel for the day, quoting my first sponsor. I can do anything I want as long as I can live with the consequences. The meeting closes with prayer and hugs. I skip the informal after meeting, allowing 10 minutes to reach Eisenhower High School, where I am completing a special ed practicum. The bad boy from Davis, the other high school across the tracks, voted most likely to be town drunk, is on his way to becoming a respected teacher. Ha! Even my cop buddies, the one who called me Sandy while slapping on the cuffs, will soon entrust their children to my care. It's Monday, so I'm not surprised when several students are missing. John has bloody knuckles again from some fight he seems to have no memory of. Kenny, known simply as K, appears to be off his meds, chattering in turbo while obsessively picking at his skin. Marilyn's lethargic, looking like I feel after a Thanksgiving food spree. I assume the poor girl lost the battle to junk food over the weekend, adding to her 300-pound frame, instead of losing, as was the plan last week. No real surprises, just a typical aftermath from the weekend. By the time I wrestle the group to order, the day's exhausted. I'm relieved and disappointed that it's over. Broke with no time for an eat and run at Mom's for homemade soup and bread, I scarfed down a can of refried beans, 59 cents for mucho protein, and head out the door. 3 nights a week, I carpool to Ellensburg with Paula, my friend Jim's wife, for evening classes. Paula's a hoot. When she opens the truck door, I do a double take, making sure it's really her. I think strangers select her outfit daily. Today she's wearing what looks like a candy striper uniform with white anklets. Last week she looked like a biker's old lady. Doesn't matter. She and my childhood drinking comrade, Jim, are sober. Hanging with other recovering drunks works like a shield. She hops into my courier pickup, politely ignores the squeaks from the rickety, battered seat, raises her soft voice to excel over the engine, and asks a question as if she's been holding it in all weekend. How are things with you and that gal, Cindy? Is that her name? I don't want to discuss my personal life, but haven't a clue how to evade the conversation for the 45-minute drive. I answer her questions as if she's an interrogator for the Russian mafia. She knows the answers anyway. I hate when people do that, ask questions they already have answers for. They seem to have a sick need to hear you say it out loud. I haven't severed the relationship with Cindy because she should be the perfect match for me, I spilled to Paula. She doesn't deserve to. She has a history of aiding and abetting alcoholics and deserves a master's degree in codependency, she says. I'm in the process of breaking it off. I only ask because I have this friend, Deb. She's just getting out of a really sick relationship and yeah, I think jumping from one sick relationship into another is such a good idea, Paula. I interrupt, laughing. Realizing what she had said, she laughs too, face changing from innocent oops to devilish grin. She holds up a photo of this gal in lingerie. Whoa, this is Deb. She's my model in photography class. She continues before I counter that I need to work on me before taking on another relationship. She'll be at the AA Valentine's dance on Friday. Are you going to be there? Yes, Paula. As you already know, I'm on the setup committee.
Okay, so keep in mind that we haven't met yet. We're moving towards a blind date. So we hope that you'll be there for that. Next week we'll be reading chapter 3 and chapter 4. Okay, so we asked that where's the
Oh, yes, here we are. I'm sorry. We'll get better at this. We got 16 weeks to get better at this.
right?
Okay, yes, our book, In Spite of Us, a love story about second chances, is available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Target, and your local bookstore, including Inklings. And I'm sure any other bookstore could order it.
And I'll be putting the links down, making the links available to you. I can't do two things at once, so I'll do that after we're done here.
Yeah. So I hope we've piqued your interest and you will come back and see us because we will be here every Sunday night at 7 as we read the entire book.
Okay. And thanks so much. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.